Visions of God, September 1979. In the book of Ezekiel, we find that Ezekiel the prophet saw the visions of God. He said he had the visions of God by the river Kibar. Well, I'm not going to try to compare myself at all to the prophet Ezekiel, but I would like to share just a little of something that I believe were the visions of God that were revealed to me in a dream by night in September of 1979. And as far as I can remember, the dream began like this. I found myself looking upwards like I was laid on my back flat and looking up into the heavens. And I saw a huge, ginormous, brilliant cloud that seemed to be glistening and sparkling with only what I could describe as the glory of God. And then something really strange happened. It's difficult to describe this, but in the very center of that cloud, an opening began to expand. A little bit like what you would see on the old-fashioned mechanical cameras in the aperture, and it would begin to open wider and wider until all that was left of this cloud was like a thin strip of cloud like that, circular, and the very inside of it was deep azure blue. And I found myself still gazing into this opening into the heavens. And then I saw him. And it was the Lord. I cannot describe his features in detail, but he was sat upon his throne in the very center of this deep blue opening into the heavens. This extraordinary thing happened as I continued to gaze up into the heavens. I noticed that there was deep red fluorescent fire surrounding the throne, surrounding the Lord. And that fire enveloped him until the throne and the Lord were completely enveloped in liquid fire. And as I continued to gaze, the fire began to illuminate until it came into a torpedo. And there was the tail of the torpedo of fire, and this torpedo of fire that completely enveloped the throne and the Lord. I gather it was something very similar to the pillar of fire that may be seen by the children of Israel. And this pillar of fire began to descend towards the earth. It actually came out of the opening in heaven and was coming down to the earth. Now that was the fount of the vision. And it came to my mind even in the dream experience. In the book of Thessalonians it says, "He shall appear in flaming fire to take vengeance upon them that obey not the gospel." Now, considering when I looked into the heavens, I saw one throne and one Lord upon that throne. And then he was enveloped in this liquid fire and coming down to the earth. In all of the dreams and visions that I believe God has given me over a period of about 50 years, and I'm not talking about lots and lots of them every week, maybe there's only half a dozen or less of these vivid dreams. But in each one of them, when I believe I've seen the Lord, I have seen one Lord on one throne. And this is a fact. And there's no other way that I can explain it than in the beginning where the Lord was revealing himself to Israel, and Moses was also telling the people. He said, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." So in all the experiences I've ever had, and it's not been many, over 50 years, when God has graciously and supernaturally revealed himself to me in a dream or a vision of the night, I have seen one Lord on one throne.